Hi everybody, welcome to the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. I'm Missi Matthews alongside Bob Pompeani. Wild Card Week is here. The Steelers, the 6th seed, heading to Baltimore to face the Ravens. But first, let's close out the regular season finale. It happened at Acrisure Stadium, another Saturday night game against the Bengals. The Steelers losing 19-17. There were some good steps in terms of the defense, but in terms of the offense, not enough to get it done.
Right, you expect more points. The last time they played, 44 points against Cincinnati. Didn't happen this time. And quite frankly, when there were big plays to be made, there were a lot of drops, specifically George Pickens. And when you make those kind of plays, you're going to ask for some trouble against a Cincinnati team that was playing for their playoff lives. But it didn't start the way you wanted it to start. First possession, and this has been a problem, Missi, all season long. The Steelers have taken too long to get into these games, both offensively and defensively. But right off the bat, Cincinnati marched right down the field and took advantage of the absence of Dante Jackson.
Yeah, as we take a look at the highlights from Saturday night, and as you said, you know Joe Burrow and how he feels about Jamar Chase, and with no Dante Jackson, that left Corey Trice with him. I don't think they expected him to be on an island there, especially with that guy, but unfortunately that is what happened, and very quickly they were able to establish their offense and get on the board.
And I think Trice was looking for some help over the top here, and there was none to be had, and that's an easy pitch and catch for a guy like Joe Burrow. And Jamar Chase, who's going to win the Triple Crown of receiving. So that was a mismatch, and they kept going back to it. On the other side, Trey Hendrickson had one of his nights, 3.5 sacks. He took advantage of Dan Moore over there, and there wasn't a lot of time for Russell Wilson to do his thing, which meant the Steelers defense had to come up with some plays, and they did.
They absolutely did. And I thought, for Patrick Queen, the quarterback of that defense, making sure the communication, we've heard so much about it, not being on point, to be on point, and also to have the splash plays, as we'll see more of those throughout the night from number 6. But as you said, the Steelers offense taking forever, it feels like, in every game to get going. This is one of those plays that when you do things right throughout, the easier first downs, you're able to have a Mike Williams splash play like that. But unfortunately for the Steelers, not able to do too much. Najee Harris gets in there, but it just felt like that drive, it was ugly. It got them the points they wanted, but there wasn't enough to have the consistency that you would see throughout a game.
No, and it became more field goals than anything else. And, credit the Steeler defense, because they did get after Joe Burrow, sacked him 4 times, hit him more than he's used to. And as a result, that touchdown we saw with Chase was really all they got in that game. The Steelers take advantage of some plays in the special teams, but they also gave some away, like this one with Calvin Austin. He's been reliable all year, Missi. That's a little surprise that it came out that easily. Yeah,
special teams and offense, and you could just tell he was absolutely distraught after it, almost in disbelief that it actually came out and the Bengals recovered it. And again, you know that the Steelers are going to get the ball to start the second half, so you want to do your best to prevent them from getting more points here. Hopefully you can get the ball back and get the points and do it again. And Beanie Bishop, again, thanks to another Patrick Queen play, able to get the interception here, thinking, okay, a little over a minute, the Steelers need to get some points.
Yeah, but unfortunately they did not do that. Went for it on a 4th down situation, gave Joe Burrow pretty good operating field position, and he took advantage of it. Cade York tacks on 3 more, so that was a significant change.
Yep, no doubt. And it, seems to be the theme of these past 4 games the Steelers have lost, of keeping it just close enough at the half where there's possibilities, but then the second half is where things start to go wrong. There again, you see Russell Wilson on the ground taking another sack. And, as you said, Trey Hendrickson and that line got after him all night and made the offensive line's night not fun either.
No, Joe Burrow was using the short passing game as sort of a substitute for a run game, which wasn't very good. But then again, we saw T. Higgins before he went out in this game. He had an impact. I thought once that happened, though, that they may switch Joey Porter over to help with Jamar Chase, and it did not happen in that situation. So Trice is a 7th-round pick. I don't know what more you can expect from him, especially on a guy like Chase. But that's the way that went. Again, field goals were the name of the day. They set up shop, and that was a mismatch they were going to keep going to.
Yeah, and why not? Joe Burrow's smart enough to know when there's single coverage on one of the best wide receivers in the league, you take it and you go for it. T. Higgins had a big game against their win against Denver the week prior, but Patrick Surtain was also on Jamar Chase. But here you see, Cade York had missed a few coming in. He was perfect on the night in terms of getting those points. And while the defense was preventing them from getting into the end zone and making this game worse, because if those were touchdowns and not field goals, this game's completely over. But for the Steelers offense, it just felt like they could not figure out a way to operate, as Coach said, with the routine plays routinely and able to engineer enough points to get you the win.
Especially in the red zone. They did capitalize here, and that was encouraging because Pat Freiermuth came alive in the second half. In fact, I thought they should have targeted him more earlier in the game. The pass game didn't have much to offer after 3 quarters. They got most of their yardage in the fourth quarter when they trailed, but 88's got to be a big part of, I think, the game coming up this Saturday, just because he is a big presence over the middle. And this is the mistake we talked about with Cincinnati, and Hustle playing a good one by Connor Hayward.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, Danny Smith has a very high IQ unit. They know all the different rules. You think about, I can't remember the running back's name in Baltimore last year to know the rule with the ball going out there, but it was something that you thought, okay, this game is still within striking distance, a little over 5 minutes, but they were only able to come up with a field goal in this possession.
And that was at 54 yards, which is almost automatic now for Chris Boswell, who's been a machine after
13 of 50 plus.
It's incredible.
13 of 50 plus in the season, career best for him. As you said, there's some more Pat Freiermuth, and it felt like they finally started throwing the ball more. Obviously, you're playing from behind, so you don't have a choice, but relying on trying to get the run game going too often, too early, where it wasn't successful.
And you can't take sacks in that situation, and Russell Wilson did at that point. There were a couple of plays that he made that, you know, given his history, you're surprised he made them, but they still had a chance. And if this is a reception, boy, it could have changed potentially the outcome.
Right, no timeouts though, so you're gonna have to find a way to clock it. It's still a long field goal. Again, Chris Boswell, the Wizard of Oz, you have faith in him, but unfortunately for the Steelers, not enough to get it done, so they were gonna have to wait until Sunday to find out where they were heading. As we said, going to Baltimore as the 6th seed to face the Ravens, the 3 seed. Round 3, it's always interesting with these two teams, so we'll have to stay tuned.
Yeah, I mean, they always play historically close games. The last one was close until the pick 6 in the fourth quarter. Then it became a 17-point loss for the Steelers. But I got a feeling they'll keep it close, be in this game, and it should lead to a dramatic ending. And hopefully for the Steelers, they can make the plays at critical times, which can lead to an upset because they are heavy underdogs in this game at 9.5 points.
Right. Last time they were in Baltimore, it was a win and win the AFC North. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and the Ravens were able to determine that this past weekend. All right. Thanks so much for joining us for the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. Have a great night, everybody.